The Sixth Sense is not the best M. Night Shyamalan film. Now, don't get me wrong, it's one of the better ones. It's a solidly made film. The performances are stellar. Okay, fine, it's the best one, but not my favorite. Kind of like how The Dark Knight is obviously the best Batman movie, but my favorite will always be Batman Returns. It turned me gay after all. My favorite Shyamalan movie is, without a doubt, The Visit. Yeah, I know. Just keep watching, okay? Greetings, my good bitches. The name's Francis, Coke Francis. I'm a filmmaker, stand-up comedian, drag artist, and I'm here because I have a chronic knee condition, and it's difficult to move. Yes, your hearing is working just fine. The Visit is my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie for a number of reasons. It's far from perfect. It has more holes in it than a Louis Sachar novel, and I know that a lot of people do hate this movie. But at the end of the day, it was, as all movies should be, entertaining! And it was very much needed at a time when Shyamalan's career was on life support. Lest we forget After Earth, and The Happening, and whatever the fuck this was. I guess you could describe his career as consistently inconsistent. Shyamalan funded The Visit entirely on his own, and is his lowest budgeted studio film to date, produced for only 5 million buckaroos. He broke form a bit too. It was his first found footage movie, and also marked the first time he didn't make his directorial cameo. It was also his first horror feature to not include a soundtrack by longtime collaborator James Newton Howard. The Visit was intended to be a redemption project, an attempt to take back artistic control after his previous big-budget failures. And thank our Sky Papa, it actually paid off. So fire up the ovens and roll the cameras. I feel like talking about it.
Oh, this'll just take a second.
Also, as you guys probably already know, our boy M. Night is most famous for his plot twists, and the twist in The Visit is a doozy. Like, if you rewatch it, it almost ruins the first 2 acts, that's how big it is. So there are tremendous spoilers ahead, so if you want to avoid that, don't watch this. So basically we follow the week-long journey of brother and sister duo Becca and Tyler, played by Olivia DeJonge and Ed Oxenbould, who are 2 Australian actors who were fairly unheard of at the time. This was actually a smart move on M. Night's part, because found footage movies are always more convincing when the cast is unknown. That's part of the reason Blair Witch Project was so successful when it first came out. The glorious Kathryn Hahn plays the absolute mother of the year here, who's been estranged from her parents for over 15 years after eloping with her high school teacher. Cool. But the parents find Becca and Tyler online somehow, I don't know, maybe they sent each other Minion memes, and invite them to stay at their farmhouse for a week. So mom agrees and sends off the kiddos while she goes on a cruise with some other fuckboy. By the way, the shot of Han waving goodbye to the kids here is just so perfect. God damn it, she's so good. She deserves better. Becca is an aspiring documentary filmmaker and decides to film every moment of their first visit with Nana and Pop-Pop. She's also an extremely painful reminder of the pretentious film cunt that I was when I was 15.
We're looking for visual tension. Things that pull the frame, things that force us to imagine what is beyond the frame.
A lot of people who saw this movie hated Tyler, but personally, I find him inspiring. The kid looks like a Big Mouth character and has at least 2 speech impediments, and here he is, spitting some straight fire right here.
Mr. Singh, my pediatrician, just confirmed for me, you tall skanks, I'm going through puberty.
His rap name is T-Diamond, so I'll respect him by only referring to him as that for the rest of the video. Ed Oxenbould rides that fine line between being funny and annoying, but when all is said and done, he's a pretty funny kid. I think he is. Sue me. So they meet Nana and Pop-Pop in this totally not suspicious farmhouse in northern Pennsylvania, and they're given 2 rules. Never go into the basement, and bedtime is at 9:30 p.m. And things go south pretty quickly. Becca learns about the curfew the hard way when she sees Nana do what I did at the end of Paperman. Don't know what I'm talking about? Subscribe to the channel, you silly sailor. But here, Pop-Up tells us about a phenomenon called sundowning, a dementia-related condition that affects the elderly at nighttime, and was actually the working title for this movie. The next day, the kids are playing hide and seek, and oh my god! If I were her, I would have immediately left and scrapped the entire documentary project, but god damn it, this girl has true filmmaking integrity, and we need more of that in these godless times. Later, T. Diamond starts exploring the shed, and oh my god! Nana explains that Pop-Up is incontinent, and he's super embarrassed about it, which is why he hides all his diapers in the shed. Which is sad, really, but also quite inefficient, at least in my experience. Shit with Pop-Pop gets even weirder when he walks through town with the kiddos and attacks a random guy he thought was following him. At one point, we learn that Nana and Pop-Up are volunteers at the local mental hospital, and a nice young lady who they supposedly helped comes by to give them a blueberry cobbler to thank them, but she's never seen leaving either. But while Becca dismisses all this as dementia and sundowning and what have you, T. Diamond starts to suspect that something else is at play here, so he sets up a camera in the living room and oh my fucking god! So after doing the Naruto run through the hallway, Nana tries to break into Becca and T. Diamond's bedroom using a knife, but doesn't succeed, and very politely puts the camera back where it was. Clearly, this does not slap with the kids, so they call their Mother of the Year again, begging her to pick them up. Mom then sees Nana and Pop-Up in the background, and that's when we find out it was Agatha all along. Sorry, I had to. Oh god, I ruined the moment, didn't I? This is like the most crucial scene in the whole movie, and I ruined it for the sake of one lame reference. It's M. Night's ultimate fatality move in everything he does. The twist. We've been waiting for it, and here it is.
Becca, Tyler, just listen to me. Those aren't your grandparents.
It's so simple, yet so unnervingly effective. Is M. Night actually Chubby Checker? 'Cause he just hit us with a twist. Again. I'll never forget when my friends and I saw this movie in theaters in 2015 and the entire audience lost their shit at this part.
Those aren't your grandparents.
Before Becca and T. Diamond can finally dip, Nana and Pop-Pop hold them hostage in a game of Yahtzee, which is an extremely strange sentence to say out loud. Becca manages to sneak into the basement where she finds the corpses of her real grandparents. Fuck, this part actually made me really sad. This was one of the few scary moments in this movie where I did not laugh for any reason. She also finds some uniforms from the nearby mental hospital, revealing that the old cunts upstairs were the patients, not the volunteers. As for the blueberry cobbler lady who disappeared, don't even trip guys, she's just been out back having a... Becca and Nana square off in a bedroom while Pop-Up tortures T. Diamond with a Jesus fucking yellow penguins, oh my god. Becca finally stabs this crazy lady with a shard of glass, and T. Diamond, the absolute G that he is, bashes Pop-Up's head in with a fridge door. I don't throw this term around liberally, but that's gangsta. They run outside and they're greeted by their mom and the cops because cops are fucking useless and only show up after an incident is already over. I kinda wish they had just ended the movie here, but mom goes on to explain what exactly happened when she became estranged from her parents. Apparently they like all hit each other or something, but mom started it, so she pretty much remained unlikable for the whole movie. But because I love to love things that everyone else hates, I am living for T. Diamond's absolute fire track during these credits.
My sister tried to make a film about old people feeling dismay, but it didn't turn out that way. She hit the screen and Keelan got vomited in her face.
And that, my good bitches, is The Visit. Let's talk about it. As you can tell, I'm a fan of this movie, so I'll air my complaints first. With a few exceptions, on the whole, I can't stand the found footage genre. It started out as a real novelty. People always credit Blair Witch Hunt as the first of its kind while forgetting an actual masterpiece called Cannibal Holocaust. I wonder how many subscribers I'll lose after this video. Cannibal Holocaust came out in 1980 and scared the living shit out of people, so much so that the director was arrested on suspicions he had created a snuff film. While in court, he had to demonstrate to everybody how the cast was not actually killed on camera. And honestly, the found footage genre has pretty much gone downhill from here. Obviously, there are a few exceptions, like the first Blair Witch and the first Paranormal Activity, but the gimmick wore off pretty quickly, and yet people still do it. Follow your dreams, I guess? Whatever. Here's the thing though, with Cannibal Holocaust and Blair Witch Hunt and Paranormal Activity, the found footage style actually fits the story. In the first two examples, the characters are documentary filmmakers in the wilderness. In Paranormal Activity, security cam footage captured some really creepy shit while the characters were sleeping. You could almost believe that this is footage of things that actually happened, and that someone found that footage and cut it all together. With The Visit, the reason for the found footage style feels a little more contrived. If I had to guess, the only real reason The Visit was presented as a found footage movie was so that M. Night could shoot it cheaply. Again, he produced this whole thing himself with the $5 million he made from that movie Jaden Smith was bullied into doing. It doesn't really say much about the genre, or comment on it, or transform it in any way. With a slightly bigger budget, the subplot around Becca's documentary could have easily been dropped, and we'd still have a premise for a solid horror movie. Also, no one is going to arrest Shyamalan on suspicions he made a snuff film. This is still 100% Shyamalan. The writing is pretty obvious, and more than a little absurd. Like, it's just not realistic that Becca would go through this traumatic experience and then still edit together this documentary about her mom's parents. One where she includes footage of their actual dead bodies, as well as footage of her stabbing her kidnapper to death. This doesn't feel found, it feels scripted. That being said, Shyamalan did find interesting ways to integrate a teenage film buff's documentary project into the narrative, and he toyed with the idea of how people act when they know there's a camera around.
Are you making a movie? I used to be an actor back in my day. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour.
Did you want to talk to Nana and Papa?
Yes.
In my personal opinion, Shyamalan's reliance on the whole mentally ill people are dangerous killers waiting to snap trope is pretty cliche. Just because I perpetuate that stereotype on a daily basis does not mean all mentally ill people do. But even though it's regressive, it's no more so than any other filmmaker who frames disability as some creepy aesthetic flourish. Even our homeboy Ari Aster does this. God, imagine if Ari Aster had directed Old. That would have been bananas, dude. Okay. Enough toxicity. I want to talk about my favorite aspect of this film. So according to Shyamalan, he made 3 cuts of this film. One that was entirely scary, one that was entirely funny, and one that fell somewhere in between, which was clearly the winner. I've seen a lot of people complain about how this movie can't decide on a tone, to which I ask, have any of you ever seen a horror comedy at any point in your life ever? I'll ask you guys this. When you're watching a horror movie, like a genuinely scary horror movie, when something scary happens, what's your immediate reaction? It's rarely the mythical, actual screams we expect. Sometimes it's gasps, but it's almost always laughter. Why? Because murder is hilarious. Just kidding, kinda. No, it's nervous laughter, but it comes from a place of comfort, knowing that we ourselves are okay while we smoke weed and bang or whatever humans like to do while watching movies, I wouldn't know. So while horror and comedy are 2 wildly different genres, they work together for this very reason. In The Visit, we were able to see a side of M. Night that we usually don't get to. He has a sick, sinister sense of humor that I can get down with, and he finally had the opportunity to share it in this fun, goofy little movie. The scary parts were scary, the funny parts were funny, and during the scary parts, we still laughed. But not because they were stupid or lame, because they were fucking terrifying. And for the first time in his career, we were able to laugh with Shyamalan rather than at him. I know there are vastly different opinions on this movie all over the internet, so tell me what you thought about The Visit. Maybe it's because I first saw it in the theater with all my friends and it just hit different, but I remember just being so proud of my boy M. Night that day. Leave a comment below. I'll pick my favorite one and give you a shout out in the next video. But not before dick slapping those like and subscribe buttons as hard as you can. Sleep tight, good bitches. It's past 9:30 somewhere. And, as always, until next time,